Evening. I'm really flattered that some of you have been asking for my opinion on specific matters that have been happening in the last 2 days because I've not been going live. I've just been analyzing certain games. But before we continue, hey, hit the subscribers button. It's just a minute. We need to reach 200 or even 500. But then, this is the thing before we go to transfers. One thing I've learned in this life is that timing matters. Like whatever you do, wherever you are, success, lack of it all depends on timing. If you get the timing right, if you approach a girl when the timing is right, you get the girl. If you approach a business when the timing is right, you make a deal. If you approach a signing when the timing is right, you are bound to sign a person. And sometimes people usually play with the time because they know when the time is right to do something and that when the time is not right to not do something. Yeah. So the thing is, with these transfers, we have seen several times just teams, agents, players knowing when the timing is right. And when the timing is right is when they start either bidding, either starting to disturb a club, either pushing in a transfer request. And some teams have been very notorious. But over some period of time, over a couple of seasons, other teams realize that, you know what, we need to play with this timing thing to our advantage. So some people, their strategy were to solve everything, like get their targets quicker, very early. By the time the season or the preseason starts, they all have everybody they need. But then you are either buying or you are either selling, and it all depends again on the timing. Now, the last time I realized that timing was very important was when we bought Kepa. We had, a couple of seasons we were holding to Couture while he had already given the transfer request and he wanted to go to Madrid. And we were still thinking that we are going to solve the issues and he will remain in Chelsea. Eventually, we lost him. And it was just, few days to the end of the transfer and we had to get a keeper. And that's why we bought, like we had to pay the release clause, which was massive, like a record for getting a keeper. And I think that's when people in Chelsea learned that sometimes you need to do your business very early when it's key. When you have to get a person, it's essential that you start your business very early. So by the time people are getting desperate, by the time people are trying to play mind games, you already have your guys. And they're doing this timing game to Man United, because if we're going to look at it, Chelsea right now don't even need another left wing. Like we have Gittens. We already bought Gittens very early in the season. We already bought preseason. We already have George. Neto can play in the left wing. If we don't sell Cucurella, will be there. If we buy Xavi Simons, will be there. So those are 5 options for the left wing. Like we don't need another left wing. That's why even they were so willing to leave Sancho out, like to, if you're not going to reduce your salary, you might as well as go. They were so ready. So in essence, we don't need Garnacho. But on the other hand, Man United need to lose Garnacho because he's getting their salary. He has not been playing for them. The coach had already said that, you know what, I don't need this particular kind of players. Now, that's a problem. And I think for some time now, they have been trying to look at the options. And to a certain extent, even last week, they had asked the coach, and the coach was, you know what, if we will not be willing to sell them, we might as well integrate them back to the club. But that's just a thing to try and cover up for, the information out there, to try and sway people that, you know what, if we are not desperate to sell these guys, if there's no any person who is willing to buy them, we might as well have them back in the club. But the thing is, it doesn't happen like that. If you are told a player that I don't need you, it will take a lot amount of humility. You will need to be very, very, like both of you on the player side and the coach side should have a high sense of humility to go against whatever they had said in the past. Like call them and state, I didn't want you, but I think now we can start working together. Now you'll get a chance. Now I want you to do this. It doesn't work like that. Like they have to sell him. Like they have to sell Sancho, they have to sell Garnacho, they have to sell, just like we have to sell people like Sterling, we have to sell people like Chilwell, we have to sell like some people who we have pushed out of the club already. There's no way we are going to integrate them back to the club. We'll need to either send them to the reserve or send them to and that's just paying. That's just bad business. And Man United know that. There, Man United, I nearly say the great Man United. The great is silent. The great ended sometimes. In the past, people say like, I'm supporting the big, great Man United. Right now, the great is silent. The Man United, the Man United has to offload Garnacho and Sancho and the rest of the other players that they are pushed. And now, I know Chelsea will make the bid. Chelsea will have to bid for him because I think they have talked to him and he has been willing to come to Stamford. And I think we are the only team eager to sign him. And I don't think we are signing him. It's not important for us. I think it's just another option. It's just another, you come. If you do well, then it's well. If you don't do well, you see the route that Felix took. If you are not going to get any European football, then Saudi direct. But we'll make the bid. But now, this bid is not going to be tomorrow. It's not going to be next week. It's not going to be next week but one. It will be at the end of the period. Like it will be probably 2 days. 2 days or 3 days. Or if you are fair enough, 4 days until the end of the transfer season. That's when we'll make the bid and we'll say, you know what, the ball is on your court. If you want to remain with Garnacho, you might as well remain with him. But if you want to sell him, we are even helping you. We are just taking the baggage off you. It's not like we are here to build our team. We have already built our team, we already have a team. We are just helping you because you don't want to pay people wages that are not working for your club, and now you want to take that baggage off you. That's what Chelsea is going to do. But they are not going to start bidding right now. We are not going to start bidding right now because if we start bidding right now fast, and that's very important for in the transfer market, is that you raise, like you probably tell not just the team that you are buying the player, but everybody else that this is the value that our scouts, our team, our very big Blueco team of analysts have decided that this player is worth. And one thing is that you can build the demand for that player, or you can destroy the demand for that player. If you bid high and Man United decides to say, you know what, for 60 we are not going to give you. You have already put like in the current market, the value of that player to be at 60, and you have already told them that, you know what, Man United is not even willing to sell at 60. Now, these are they're called nuances. They're just demand. Sometimes players are not that good. Sometimes players are, it's just a lot of marketing, a lot of saying, putting their name there, like the Ballon d'Or shout, say this is a Ballon d'Or material, this is noise award. Like sometimes it's just shouts, a lot of this team wants him, this teams want him, and then you build that player to a big name, to a brand that everybody wants. Not that is going to make any big change on your club. It's just that if you keep making the demand, if you keep building the demand, you are bound to make others see the value in that player. Now, the other thing is that sometimes, probably right now, even middle teams, like probably they have some 40 million at the bank and they think, you know what, Man United probably will not accept this amount. Probably they value Garnacho as a youngster, a person with a big, big limit. What do they call? What do they call that thing? Like, it's going to be so huge. So if we go with this 40 million, probably they'll not accept. And then Chelsea decides to bid 25. And then Man United says, you know what, we are not going to take 25. But if you bring 35, we'll take it. And now every other team, Juventus, Newcastle, Atletico Madrid, like they were waiting. They were waiting to see, like, what's the estimation of this guy. Now, Man United can agree on 35. Now they will all start making those calls. Like, you are sure you want 35 for Garnacho? We have this 35 plus another 5 for performance. And now, you start again bringing a lot of competition, and then you boost. So, timing. And I think eventually, Garnacho is going to Stamford. We will bid him. We will bid for him. Man United will accept, because there's no Garnacho is not like Sterling. Right now Sterling has done a lot of stuff. He has won the Premier League several times. He has won the Champions League. Has he won the Champions League? Am I sure? I'll have to check on it. But he has done a lot of stuff. He has won the Champions League because, I see, he was signed after we won the Champions League, but Man City had not won the Champions League. Probably if he had won the Champions League early, in probably Liverpool, I'm not sure, I'll check. But I think he has won a lot of trophies. He's at the end of his career. So even if Southampton wants him, he might just decide to go there. If Leeds wants him, he might just decide to go there. If West Ham especially want him because they have lost Kudus, he will go there. And it's not just in England. He might go to Spain, he might go to France, he might go to Germany. So for those kind of players, Chilwell, Sterling, even Cucurella, like Chelsea can wait with them. But Garnacho is very young. He has a certain confidence, and probably people call it overconfidence in himself. Like, he knows himself. I don't think if today, like a team like Sunderland bids for him, I'm so sure he'll feel so bad. Like, he'll start asking himself, like, what did I do wrong? Why does Sunderland want me? Like, they don't respect me. Like, the only team that should be bidding for me should be Madrid, Barcelona, Chelsea, Man City, PSG. I think that's his mentality. And it's different from the other guys. And that's why it's so hard for Man United to sell those kinds of players. Even Sancho. I'm so sure Sancho will not play for Sunderland right now. Probably in 2 years. I'm so sure if BVB doesn't come to help them, he'll go on a loan to maybe Galatasaray or those teams that usually save people. BVB is one of them. Galatasaray is another. They're always there waiting. When you don't have an option on anything, they'll just come and say, we'll pay 20% of this guy's salary and we'll give you 5 million for, the loan. And then you bargain, you say, no, pay 30. And they accept. That's what they do. BVB, Galatasaray, Fenerbahce. Visit Fenerbahce ama Fenerbahce. Some teams are just built for that. But that's about Sancho. Now, on the other news, which I said it. I said it last year. I said it last week. And people are saying, Isak is right. Liverpool, or I've already talked to him, and they have agreed on things, and Liverpool will be bidding. And I said it here. If you go on one of my lives, I said that you can't depend on one club to come for you, especially when the transfer season is ending. And anything can happen. It doesn't even depend on money. Like somebody on the negotiation table can say something bad, and the deal just breaks up. Somebody can say, like, the deal can break up from terms, from you engaging on certain things. Like, you need to have options and the right time to hand in your transfer request. When you know, again, as I've said, timing. You should hand in your transfer request when you know you have several options, not just one option. If you want to move, and somebody is serious about you and somebody wants you, you should make them first talk to the club. That's how these things, like, I don't know what agents usually say or what they usually do. That's what I think it caused a problem between Lukaku and fans, Kepa and fans. Because Kepa, while he was in Real Madrid, he didn't even know if Real Madrid will be buying. But he was so vocal about, no, I don't want to go to Chelsea. I just want to play at Real Madrid. Now, he's still 28, 29, and he's a backup. He's a backup to a 26-year-old goalkeeper. Choices. Those are the choices. Like, if you are clever, you make sure that if you have to move in a way that doesn't necessarily ruin your brand and ruin your connection with the fans. So if you are so sure that another club is coming for you, you should at least make sure that they are able to meet your release clause. They're able to talk to your club and sign you. But Isak, probably somebody just told him, why are you doing, what are you doing in Newcastle? Like right now, what are you doing in Newcastle? I can talk to Liverpool people and you can go there. But you didn't know that at the current market price, because Liverpool have bought Swiss for 100. And a lot of people, Eketike for 90, other people for 90. Like, the market is very bad that sometimes you need leverage. Newcastle and Liverpool have not done a lot of business. The leverage is not there. You still have a lot of years in your contract. You have to make sure. And now, Liverpool bid. They bid for him, I think, for 110, something like 110. And Newcastle have refused that. They have said that if width is 110, why would Isak be 110? Isak is not going out of Newcastle with less than 150. Now, Liverpool have decided that, you know what, it wasn't like we didn't have people to play in the striking position. We have Ekitike. We still have Gakpo. We still have, they have not, they still have strikers. They have not sold all their strikers. They still have strikers. So they're not just going to spend money because they sold Diaz. So that deal, they decided that, you know what, you stay with Isak. And Isak has not been going to the training, has not followed Newcastle to preseason. So this brings another whole problem for him. Because then he will either decide to, just be the way Gyökeres was, like just decide, you know what, I'm not going there. You might as well as find me, you might as well as do whatever you want. If you have to not sell my jersey, if you like do whatever you want, but I'm not coming to Newcastle. The way Gyökeres did. And then you force the team to negotiate, or you might just, again, swallow the pride and go back to Newcastle and decide, you know what, I tried, but it didn't happen. So, am I welcome back? Can I get my number? Can I start playing? Will you treat me the way you are treating me? That can also happen. It has happened in several cases. But in most of the cases, people don't, it doesn't end well. In most of the cases, when the initial team that was going to purchase you decides, no, you are not going, you are not interested. Now, the only time or the only way you are going to be sold is either you'll be loaned out to a team that probably you didn't want. That's what happened to Osimhen, and now he's playing in Turkey. Timing, decision making. And Isak's a good player. But I don't know. This window has been very, 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 as much as a lot of deals have been made this season, a lot of movements, a lot of teams have become better. There has been a huge shift in getting big names, because a lot of teams have not been going for the big names. Like the two big names that the three big names were Gyökeres, Isak for the striking position. No, that's the forward is always the big position. The mid, the defenders, and everything else is just man. Like you can even take an academy player to play there. Osimhen, Isak, Gyökeres. Now Osimhen is in Turkey. Gyökeres nearly did not happen. Nearly did not happen. And Isak again is looking like there is a lot of troubles. But anyway, for that amount, even for Gyökeres, you saw the other game, and a lot of people have been criticizing him on Twitter, saying that he's a bouncer. I disagree. I just think he's very, very, very hugely. He's a beast of a human being. He's built like Kusanov. He's so huge. He can body everybody at the defense. But will he move as quick as he was moving in Sporting? I don't think he's going to move as quick, because people in Premier League are moving quicker. People in Premier League are shift, they're lanky, they're tall, they're everything that the people in Portugal were not. The people in Benfica, if you compare, because even if you are going to check, Vega was one of the key defenders. If you are going to check the defenders, probably the top 4 clubs in Portugal, Benfica, Sporting, which is the other team. Like if you compare the defenders to the defenders that Gyökeres is going to face in Premier League, it's going to be very difficult. And I think the goals necessarily will not really meet the hype. And it's the same thing with the money that Liverpool are being forced to pay for Isak. Will the money really meet the output that Isak will give? You will never know. You'll never know until it happens. But anyway, as at now, we are in what we usually call an embargo. Is a point where is a point, especially if you are good in chess. You know, sometimes you are only forced, like your options are usually limited. If you have to make if you make one single mistake, you get defeated. I think for Isak, he's at that point. He has to make the right decision. And I think Newcastle have not signed anybody else. So them, I think even this transfer is not a it has transcended business. I think this transfer has transcended business. This transfer is that transfer where you are being forced to protect your brand, because Newcastle should not be like Brighton. There are teams that, even by Leverkusen was like that. You win the league, then you are at the point where everybody is coming for your top players. Everybody is coming for your top players, meaning you will never win the league again. It happened with the Leicester. Everybody can't, like they took everybody, and in 3 seasons, they were fighting relegation. They were being relegated from 2017. 5 seasons, they were being relegated. Leverkusen right now, I don't think they're going to give a lot of competition to Bayern or the top teams. Brighton this time they're not. It's because everybody is taking. Because even if you look at Brighton, they were having Sanchez, they were having Caicedo, they were having Cucurella, they were having uh, Pedro. Those are four. Those are four key players who have changed in just 3 years. I've moved from Brighton to the club World Cup champions. You see, so if Brighton had a way to retain those players, they will probably be in the Champions League slot. They'll probably be among those, the teams fighting for position 4. And I think that's what Newcastle wants to prevent. Newcastle doesn't want to lose Isak, because if it loses Isak, then next season, a lot of teams or a lot of players will also consider that the team is not who they think they are. They're not this historical. Historical is bad, but they are not this team. Of course, it's historical. They're not this great historical team that are trying to come up with $1 billion oil owner. No, they'll just say this another Brighton. Like, we can go there, we can go to Newcastle and take any of their players that is playing good. That should not happen to a team that is trying to build this name, that is trying to build this brand. And I think that's what they're trying to prevent. They're trying to prevent losing Isak, because if they lose Isak, next time they lose another guy, next time they lose another top player, next time they lose another, and eventually, anyway, those were good 30 minutes. And follow back, man. Not follow, subscribe. Yeah, and anywhere you find us, you are biased pandit on every biased pandit on every other social media platform: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and yeah, and you can like. If you like it, then you see our content goes to other people, goes to like-minded people, and it makes me come here every other day. Anyway.